Good one. The capital of Fujian province, Fuzhou, holds a very important place in Chinese history and the history of international trade, thanks to its prominence along the maritime silk trading route. Now, I'm at a place called Mingmansi, or the Shrine to the Fujian King. And this tablet behind me dates back to the Tang Dynasty, and it outlines Fuzhou's links to trade with Southeast Asia and the Arab world. Now, before the Tang Dynasty, right the way through to European colonialism, teas, silks and ceramics, and a host of other goods were ferried back and forth along this route, past the Middle East, past the Horn of Africa, right the way through to the Mediterranean. Now, tea, which I just mentioned, that featured far more prominently much later on in that time period, mainly because of British people, because we really wanted tea from China. So, seeing as I'm British, and I like tea, and Fujian is famous for its tea, let's go drink some tea. What kind of tea? Popcorn tea.
No.
What kind of tea? Jasmine tea. Now, jasmine flowers arrived into China from India along the maritime silk trading route. Now, it was when they arrived in China, here in Fujian province, that they were turned into tea. But they weren't just added to water and made tea. What actually happened was this was mixed with a certain kind of tea leaf. What kind of tea leaf? Green tea. Now, the process of making jasmine tea involves infusing the scent and aroma from the jasmine flowers with the green tea. So how do they do that? Well, they put the green tea into a large basket like this, and then they add the fresh jasmine flowers. Now, these are dry, but let's just pretend they're fresh. Then you mix them all together, and then you transfer it over to another flat container to be left overnight, during which time the scent and the fragrance from the flowers will infuse with the green tea, known as shun cha ye, or in English, infusing the tea with the flavour and scent of the flowers. And on the second day, you separate the jasmine flowers from the tea, because the tea has been infused with all the fragrance and scent from the jasmine flowers. But it's become quite wet in the process, so you have to separate them and dry the tea. Come on, there we go. And once they're separated, and after you've dried the moist green tea infused with the jasmine flowers, you start the process all over again using this tea and add more fresh jasmine flowers. But of course, the drying process isn't exactly fast. Once it's done, you can have a cup of tea. Hot, hot. And after all of that process, you can pour yourself a lovely cup of jasmine tea. The tea itself is very fragrant, it's very clear, and it's got a perfume-like quality. Not in a negative way, in a very soothing and subtle way. Oh, so fresh. Now, the word tea in the English language derives from the Minnan dialect, which sounds a little bit like this.
Te.
And it's a little bit similar to the word tea in the Fuzhou dialect, which sounds a little bit like this. Da. But I'm going to stick with tea because I'm English. The capital of Fujian, Fuzhou. And after all of that process, you're left with some... No, they mixed the flowers with a... These flowers weren't just... Out. And then, after an evening of... And after... Oh, what should I say? Because, basically... Oh, let's do that again. I do actually have to dry it. That's annoying that the car came. 嗯